I am taking a break. I'm not streaming. Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're playing Ursartic Drytron. And Space Bears are a cool deck. I really like the theming of them, but the cards are bad. Except for one card, which is this one. Ursartic Polar Star. Ursartic Polar Star says you contribute one level 8 Ursartic monster from your hand or field, and this card. Special summon one level 7 Ursartic Synchro monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. If you do, it gains this effect. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. And the target for that would be the Ursartic Septentrion, which says negate the effects of face-up monsters without a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. So Septentrion, by itself, negates the effects of Synchro and Xyz and Link monsters. Then if it's summoned by Polar Star, then Fusion and Synchro monsters still have effects, but your opponent's monsters cannot activate them. They will still have passive effects, and you are unaffected. Your Xyz monsters and Link monsters are negated under Septentrion, but Polar Star does not negate your cards. It doesn't negate your opponent's passive effects, but it does prevent them from activating those effects, which is really cool. So this is a one-card insane floodgate, as long as we can summon it and protect it. And like I said, despite the amazing artwork, this is just objectively cool. It is a giant space bear in full plate armor, carrying a giant sword with a big claw. Really cool. Bad deck. But it is directly related to Drytrons, and Drytrons are not bad. So here's how we play the deck. For starters, we got, I guess this is a 3-card combo. Any Drytron name, Drytron Nova, and Zeta Aldaba. So, cool. So we'll start things off with activate Nova. Nova lets us special summon any Drytron monster from our deck, but after we've done so, we cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set. Very weird restriction for Drytrons. Basically, they are not locked out of the extra deck at all because you can't normal summon or set Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monsters. But you can't special summon like monsters from the hand or from the graveyard unless they are monsters that say this card cannot be normal summoned or set, which every Drytron monster does. So we're going to special summon Drytron New 2 from our deck. The reason we choose New 2 is because New 2's effect activates whenever it's special summoned, as opposed to when it special summons itself. So we'll use New 2's effect here, and we get to add any Ursartic or any Drytron monster from our deck to our hand, which is going to be our ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha, which is always treated as both an Ursartic and a Drytron card. Okay, now we'll use Cyber Emergency here, and we're going to use Cyber Emergency. We can add any machine monster that is light and cannot be normal summoned or set from our deck to our hand. So we will grab Drytron Alpha Thuban. We will use Thuban's effect by tributing New 2 in order to special summon it. And with Alpha Thuban is special summoned by its own effect, then I can draw a ritual monster. So I'll grab Benton. Alright. Next up, I'm going to use Zeta's effect to tribute Benton. Special summon itself, and Zeta lets me add a ritual spell from my deck to my hand, which will be Medionis Drytron. Ben 10's effect activates whenever it's tributed, allowing me to add any fairy monster from my deck to my hand. Now, we are playing Vanity's Ruler so that we can play under Droll if we get interrupted. This is a good normal summon that allows us to prevent our opponent from special summoning monsters. Artifact Lancia can be searched by Ben 10, which is a very good Malice matchup card, so that's part of the reason why we're playing Drytrons right now. But then, if we're going first and we are not being threatened, our main target is Diviner of the Herald. Okay. Now, we're going to activate Ultimate Bright Knight's effect. When it's in our hand, if we already control an Ursartic or Drytron monster, we can special summon this card, then we can add an Ursartic or Drytron spell or trap from our deck to our hand. So we're going to special summon it, and we're going to add Drytron Fafnir, which is the field spell. Now we activate Drytron Fafnir. When it's activated, we can add another Drytron spell or trap from our deck to our hand, which will be Ursartic Drytron. That's right, there is a spell card that is literally called Ursartic Drytron. The name does nothing except incorporate both archetypes. Very funny. Okay. Now we will activate Ursartic Drytron's effect. So we banish one Fafnir from our field, and we can banish one Ursartic Big Dipper from our deck, as long as we control Alpha Thuban, which we do. This will allow us to special summon the Ursartic Drytron Fusion Monster, Ultimate Flagship Ursatron, which is a level 7 water machine monster with 2,000 attack and 700 defense points that is always treated as both an Ursartic and a Drytron card. So it's very funny. It's level 7, which means that it can be used for all the Ursartic cards. It's water, which Ursartic monsters are. It's a machine, which Drytron cares about, and it has 2,000 attack points, which Drytron also cares about. So, very funny that it's like the perfect amalgamation of both decks. It's also a fusion monster, which means that it is a card that can be special summoned by a card effect that is not a ritual monster, so it can be summoned without any sort of like restrictions from Drytron, although right now Drytron wouldn't restrict it, but I guess that's a future-proofing thing. And it also is not negated by any of the Ursartic cards because it has a level. So we special summon it. And this card's good. It's fine, but we don't really care about this card. What we actually care about is we care about getting Ursartic Drytron itself in the graveyard, because it has another effect. If you attribute a monster to activate an Ursartic or Drytron monster's effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Excellent. Now that it's in our graveyard, let's normal summon Diviner of the Herald. Diviner of the Herald's effect. We send a fairy monster from our deck or our extra deck to the graveyard, and then we increase Diviner of the Herald's level by the sent monster's level. So we're going to send Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight's effect activates, and now we can add a ritual monster from our deck to our hand, which is going to be our Drytron Miniotis Da Draconids. Okay, now, here's the fun part. So, we now possess a level 6 tuner, and we possess a level 7 monster. Which means that we can now qualify for the effect of the Ursartic Synchro Monsters. Typically, Ursartic Synchro Monsters can be summoned with a level 8 Ursartic Tuner and a level 7 Ursartic Non-Tuner. But they don't have that restriction. What they say instead is, cannot be Synchro Summoned, must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 2 monsters you control with a level difference of 1 to the graveyard. 1 Tuner and 1 Non-Tuner. So, level 6 Tuner, level 7 non-tuner. Boom. Here is our Ursartic Polar Star. Now we can activate Ultimate Flagship Ursatron's effect, which is once per turn if an effect monster is special summoned to your field, you can add an Ursartic or Drytron monster from your deck to your hand. What have we not used yet? Gamma? No. Alright. Now we are going to exceed the Thuban and the Zeta into our rank 1 Mu Beta Fafnir. The reason why we're going to do this right now is because we are about to negate the effects of all Xyz and Link monsters, so we want to resolve this card's effects first. So we Xyz summon, we use its effect, we're going to send the last Drytron card that we don't have to our graveyard from our deck, which is our other fusion monster. Then we will activate Minionis' effect, and we will choose to special summon the 5,000 attack monster from our hand. And the way we're going to do that, Mu Beta Fafnir has an interesting effect. So, okay, first of all, let me explain how I'm ritual summoning a level 12. I apologize. Minionis Drytron says, this card can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster from your hand or your graveyard. You must also tribute machine monsters from your hand or your field whose attack points equal or exceed the attack points of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So, unlike almost every other ritual spell in the game, this card does not care about levels. It cares about attack points. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Drytron monster you control. It loses exactly 1,000 attack points until the end of your opponent's turn. If it does, add this card back to your hand. Very useful effect. Okay, so we are going to... I'm sorry. Now that you understand how that works. Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir. When you ritual summon, you can detach a material for this card as a monster that is required for the ritual summon. So, and that is not once per turn. So, we will detach both of the materials from Mu Beta Fafnir, and then we're also going to tribute the Gamma Eltanin from our hand. This allows us to ritual summon our dad in defense position. Cool. Now, we will activate Meteonis Drytron's effect from the graveyard. We target Mu Beta Fafnir and reduce its attack points by 1,000 to return Meteonis Drytron back to our hand. Then we will activate the effect of Gamma Eltanin from our graveyard. We tribute the Mu Beta Fafnir, and Gamma Eltanin can special summon both itself and another Drytron monster from our graveyard. This will allow us to then activate Meteonis Drytron's effect again, allowing us to tribute the two monsters we just summoned in order to ritual summon our other boss monster, level 12, Drytron Meteonis Dracondus. Now, we will activate the effect of Ursartic Polar Star. We banish the Ursartic Drytron from the graveyard, so that its effect, of course, is you contribute one level 8 Ursartic monster from your hand or field and this card. But Ursartic Drytron's effect says you can use this card as the whole tribute. So we don't lose our Ursartic Polar Star, and we don't even have to have a level 8 Ursartic monster in our deck to use this effect. Banish it from grave. Now we can special summon the Ursartic Septentrion from our graveyard. Or from our extra deck. Then we will link the flagship Ursartron and the Ursartic Polar Star into IP Masquerade. Okay. Technically, we could revive New here if we wanted to, but there's no reason to. Alright, so let's take a look at our field. We have IP Masquerade. IP Masquerade is currently negated. It says, during your opponent's main phase, you can, as a quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, link summon one link monster using monsters you control as material, including this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. A link monster that is used this card as material can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So, this card does not function. It is not able to be resolved while we control Ursartic Septentrion. But as soon as our opponent discovers that Ursartic Septentrion is a floodgate that negates every card in their extra deck, this is going to be their primary target for removal. So, once Septentrion is removed from the field, IP Masquerade will form additional forms of disruption. It's better than having Polar Star on the field, which doesn't do anything. Okay. We have Ursartic Septentrion, which says, negate the effects of face-up monsters without a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. So that's Xyz monsters and Link monsters. 0 effects. Then it also says that your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. Yep. Okay. So Septentrion is just... the extra deck is completely negated. You can summon from the extra deck, but any monster that you summon either has all of its effects negated or cannot activate its effects. Then we have Drytron Meteoris DA Dracondus. Level 12 ritual monster. You can 5,000 attack, 5,000 defense. You could ritual summon this card with Meteoris Drytron. Other Drytron monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Twice per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, as a quick effect, you can banish one Drytron monster from your graveyard, whose total attack points equal or exceed the original attack of that monster. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. If this ritual summon card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon one ritual monster with 4,000 attack points from your hand or deck. This is treated as a ritual summon. Okay, so we have that effect. We also have Drytron Meteonis Draconets. You can ritual summon this card with Meteonis Drytron. Your opponent cannot target this card with monster effects, so it can't be destroyed by card effects thanks to the other one, and it also can't be targeted with monster effects. If the total levels of monsters used as ritual summon for this card are 2 or less, which they are, this card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. During your opponent's turn, you can banish cards from your graveyard whose combined attack equal exactly 2,000 or 4,000. Then target one face-up card your opponent controls for every 2,000 attack of the total, and send that card to the graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, we have 2 monster negates. How many Drytrons do we have in the graveyard? We have 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000. So we have 6 Drytrons in our graveyard. So we can either banish 2 monsters to negate a monster that has 3,000 or more attack points, which we really shouldn't have to do since we negate all those effects anyway. So typically speaking, we will banish 2 monsters from our graveyard to use Drytron Draconids effect. We negate like a monster in the hand or a monster that was summoned to the field with 2,000 or less attack points and destroy it. So that's 2 negates that also pop and can be used from anywhere. It can negate card effects in the graveyard. It can negate card effects in the hand. It's fine. A complete extra deck lock, and we can send up to 2 cards our opponent controls from the field to the graveyard by targeting them. So it doesn't destroy. It can work on spells or traps. It can be 1 or 2. And that's great. And then this card also can't be targeted or destroyed. This card protects our other monsters from being destroyed. And then if for some reason Septentrion gets removed, we can use IP Masquerena to link into something like Nightmare Unicorn, SP Little Knights, or Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Then we also have 2 other cards left. So that is the deck. Let's take a look at the main deck. We have 3 copies of Drytron Alpha Thubane, 1 copy of Drytron Gamma Eltanin, 1 copy of Drytron Zeta Aldaba, 2 copies of Drytron New, 2 copies of Max C, 1 copy of Diviner of the Herald, 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, 3 copies of Artifact Lancia, 2 copies of Ultimate Bright Knight Drytron Alpha, 1 copy of Vanity's Ruler, 2 copies of Cyber Angel Benton, 1 copy of Drytron Meteonis Dracondis, 1 copy of Drytron Meteonis Day Draconids, 1 copy of Foolish Burial, 1 copy of 1-for-1, which special summons new, 3 copies of Cyber Emergency, which searches anything, Drytron Nova, 3 copies, Ursartic Drytron at 1, 3 copies of Drytron Fafnir, 1 copy of Ursartic Big Dipper, 1 copy of Meteonis Drytron, 2 copies of Call by the Grave, 2 infinite impermanences. Extra deck, Elder Entity Entis. This is basically the same thing as a Herald of the Arclight, except instead of searching, it allows you to destroy a card if it's sent to the graveyard. Ultimate Flagstrip Ursatron, Ursartic Polar Star, Herald of the Arclight, Ursartic Septentrion, Ursartic Grand Chariot, which is the same thing as Septentrion. You summon it off of your Polar Star, but it has the effect where if it's special summon, you can target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. So this is a card that you make going second. Moo Beta Fafnir, Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis, which is just like if you're getting interrupted a bunch, then you can at least make this to try and stop your opponent. Link Kariba, which can be made off of any Drytron monster. Relinquished Anima, which can also be made off of any Drytron monster and sucks up one of your opponent's monsters. IP Masquerena for the aforementioned end board. SP Little Knight as a target. Nightmare Unicorn as a target. Underworld Goddess as a target. And Access Code Talker as a 5k beater. Alright. There you go. That is the deck. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.